I wanted to take a second to give you guys a brief introduction to why this opportunity exists and take a look at the major players, the airlines and the banks, so you can understand their motivations and what they're getting out of all of this. So the first loyalty programs came around in the 1980s. American Airlines was one of the first, and they basically took a look at all of their best customers and decided to try and create a way to incentivize them, to keep them as loyal as possible. So they went through and they found a list of the people that continued to buy tickets with them, and they created this rebate system that was going to give them miles or points that they were going to be able to use for future flights and future benefits with the airline. And this turned out to be immensely successful. And so today there are hundreds of loyalty programs, from everything from hotels and banks to airlines, even grocery stores and gas stations. And the major frequent flyer programs for the airlines have tens of millions of members. So this turned out to be an immensely profitable tool and great marketing for the airlines. Now, let's talk about the banks for a second. Banks make money, for the most part, when you use their card to make purchases. Anyone out there that's a small business owner knows that the banks take a percentage of every transaction. And so for that reason, the banks have a huge lifetime value of customer. It's really, really valuable. And the reason especially for that is that most people get one or two cards and they use those cards for years or even decades. And so once the bank acquires you as a customer, they've got a really long runway to collect that extra revenue. And so the banks take that money and they spend it by purchasing in bulk a ton of frequent flyer miles, millions and hundreds of millions of miles from the airlines. And they use those as incentives to get you to sign up for a card. So there's a huge amount of value that's being generated by your own consumption, you and your family's consumption, and there's a lot of money on the table. And the airlines and the banks are working together to try and take as much of that money as possible and keep it for themselves. And so what we're going to teach you to do is to use these systems, use the rules of these systems to be able to keep as much of that value for yourself as possible. So that's the point of this course, basically to understand the banks, build a strong relationship with the banks that's sustainable over the long term, that's going to be healthy and improve your credit, to earn as many of these points as possible, and then to use those points in a really smart way. And so you have to realize that, again, this is not hurting the banks and the airlines. The vast majority of people that are using loyalty programs are doing a very, very bad job of it. And so this course is going to put you in the top 1% of people that get a ton of value, and that's going to translate into real cash savings on travel for a long time into the future. You're going to be able to travel more, you're going to spend less money, and you're also going to have access to extremely luxurious premium experiences that the airlines charge tens of thousands of dollars for. Those first class and premium cabin redemptions are within your reach. And so we're going to show you how to do it. We'll see you inside.